And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
The lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. They want us to sell our souls to barter profit. Like God's property, it's hard to market. So we steady to aim, keep your eyes on target. Cause when you got to drive, yeah, they'd rather you park it. But I don't valet, you ain't getting these keys. I'm keeping closed hands, I'm on bended knee. I'm just a reflection, dealing with 8 sections. Art mixed with life, you can feel the convection. Your lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the lion won't sleep tonight. 'Cause we woke now, and we woke now. I said the
There are Ashkenazi Jews who are entirely European in their DNA. That's why you're not allowed to have a DNA test in Israel, because it will reveal that virtually none of them are Semitic, virtually none of them have any ancestral connection to the land. I was viciously assaulted by a manager in the BBC who had recently converted to Judaism. It's fine. I love all religions. But you can't say I've now converted to Judaism and therefore I have a right to go to the land of Palestine and live in the house of someone whose ancestors have been living in it for thousands of years.
I'm about to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that.
This TikTok caused a storm online, with many debating what his results, which show no trace of being from Palestine or the Middle East, despite being Jewish, mean. DNA testing to prove Jewish ancestry is a hot-button political issue in Israel. For example, Israel's chief rabbinate has pushed for the ancestry DNA tests to be allowed to prove Jewishness in certain cases. In particular, many Jews who have emigrated to Israel from the Soviet Union, who may not have had the necessary paperwork that shows they are Jewish, have sought to get genetic tests done to show they are Jews. In 2019, a political scandal erupted when it appeared Russian Jews were secretly submitting DNA tests to the rabbinate in order to obtain the right to move to Israel.
So we're supposed to we're just being told that anti-Semitism is now criticizing Israel. Anti-Semitism is anything they want it to be. They can't even define it. They admit in this bill that they've passed through the House that there's really truly no actual protection for Jews, but they're just making it up as they go because they want to say, well, but Semites, which we shouldn't even be using that word anymore, because most Jews who practice the religion of Judaism or who are culturally Jewish, even if they don't practice the Jewish religion, but they're culturally Jewish, like many are culturally Christian. Many of us celebrate Christmas, but we're not Christian. That's cultural Christianity. It is what it is, right? They can't define it. They're putting all these rules on us. We shouldn't even allow them to use the term anti-Semitism. It's not real. Most of these Jews are not Semites.
You can convert to Judaism. You can't convert to a blood family. You cannot convert to a race. Judaism is a religion. That's all it is. Judaism is a religion. That's all it is.
Judaism is a religion. That's all it is.
Without getting too semantic, or at the risk of getting too semantic, does it matter that the Jews are not Semites, or does this phrase anti-Semitism just means hatred for the Jewish people? They're Ashkenazi, they're Eastern European Jews.
I just had a rabbi give me an analogy. He said, look, imagine you left your home and then someone came and occupied it, and then you try to get it back, and then they went to the judge. Have you heard some of these analogies? Maybe you can.
Yeah, that's assuming that, you know, that's taking it to a place which I don't usually go. That's making the assumption that today's Jews are really the descendants of the ancient Hebrews that used to live in that part of the world some 3,000 years ago. That's making the assumption that today's Jews are really the descendants of the ancient Hebrews that used to live in that part of the world some 3,000 years ago.
That's making the assumption that today's Jews are really the descendants of the ancient Hebrews that used to live in that part of the world some 3,000 years ago.
The religion created the Jewish people. The definition of a Jewish person is somebody who is transformed by receiving the Torah.
How about you? Are you a white Jew?
So we could elaborate on this debate. I'm going to try to stay sort of in the pocket here, one thing at a time. But am I white passing? Absolutely. How we're going to define
you said you're white passing.
Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings to everyone. Hope and pray all is well with you guys. Hope and pray that you had a blessed Shabbat. I had a blessed Shabbat, and I know this week you didn't see a lot of content being posted this week. Is because I would say mysteriously, conveniently to not me, inconvenience to me, but the tool that I use pushed an update on my video. I'll just say Adobe Premiere is what I use. And I've never had problems with it. But suddenly, the video that I tried to upload or encode was the one about the AI and Donald Trump. And suddenly I got this push, and it hosed up my Adobe, right? Did all kinds of things, wouldn't work. So it took me about 4 or 5 days to get my Adobe to work again, to get the videos encoded, right? And I know that there's a lot of things that can happen in terms of what software manufacturers can do when it comes to their updates to purposely target computers, especially based upon their IP addresses. Like I used to be able to host our website here. I used to host it here from my home, but now I can't. I can see my website internally, but not externally. Suddenly, and I know dealing with routing and switches, that's part of my background. I know that they can create access lists and put your IP address there and just really target what the traffic that could come into your network, right? Because everything is now based upon an IP address, even your phone, right? For those that still have a phone number, you have an IP address that's attached to your phone number. When ultimately, guess what? It's connected to a router. You have access lists. You have all that other stuff to go along with it. So my apologies. So I got to play catch up because of the technical difficulties that I experienced. And like I said, never experienced that before. Had Adobe since 2003, 2004. You know, maybe a little earlier than that. You know, with Dreamweaver and all of that. But it wasn't Adobe, you know, it was Macromedia, right? But anyway, so mysteriously, suddenly, I couldn't do anything. Regardless of me uninstalling, reinstalling, doing all kinds of things, it took me 4 days, and I'm a geek, but it took me 4 days to resolve it or create a workaround. So now I can get back to uploading, but I'm, like I said, I lost a lot of time this week, so I'm kind of playing catch up. All right. So tonight, transitioning from that thought, so my apologies, family, because I was still having a little problems before I went live tonight. So that's why I have a delay here, getting on late. But anyway, we'll get caught up. So tonight, I wanted to delve into a little more of, as you see on your screen, Son of Perdition, Throne Addiction. Son of Perdition, Throne Addiction. And you'll see also in the title for this video is The Jewish President, Throne Addiction. I may even change the name just to try to, make sure that, you know how they flag and everything. When I say they, YouTube and, the gatekeepers. But anyway, so I wanted to do this live here and kind of bring some things together and really make sure that many of you guys understand like a lot of the foundational things, some of the foundational things within the scriptures. So I really want to touch on a few things here, and I'll drop the link inside the comment section once I get into a flow for. I see Sister Carol in the building. I see my brother, Berean Scholar. So I'll drop the link once I get to a point where I could pause, but just want to get the plane up in the air, so to speak. And then I'll drop the link for you guys. But yeah, I want to deal with this Son of Perdition, Throne Addiction. And one of the things you guys probably notice, and I know I noticed this, you probably see the patterns whenever there's something significant that may be happening with, let's just say, some of the so-called superpowers like Russia, United States, China, Germany, with some of the India, with some of the different superpowers, this is where you start seeing a lot of the end time prophecy enthusiasts start rearing their heads, or whenever there's a new president, whatever the case may be, or something that happens over in Israel, for us, the territory, there's, you'll see the end time prophecy enthusiasts come to the surface, right? So right now, there's a lot of things that's going on. And I know some of you guys saw the video, the live that we did a week ago, Sister Carol, myself, and Berean Scholar. All I did was ask this simple question to ChatGPT, and it gave a lot of information. So the video I uploaded, finally was able to upload late last night after almost a week of trying to fix the issues with Adobe. It's more of an extensive response. So I encourage you guys, go watch that. But I really want to deal with the Son of Perdition and deal with a couple of things that some of you guys may not be aware of, right? And we're going to get right into it. Let me go and stretch this screen out, right? And as you see, Son of Perdition, Throne Addiction. And we want to do a refresher for some of you guys that may not be familiar with the Antichrist and the Son of Perdition. And I really want to make sure we have an understanding of this, because one of the things that we see, especially with, eschatology, according to the Roman Catholic Church, according to we'll focus more on the Pentecostal church, so to speak. And you'll see that there's certain patterns when it comes to eschatology. And one of them is their understanding of the Antichrist. And I want to make sure we have the baseline, the basic foundation of what's in the Antichrist and what's the Son of Perdition. I really want to make sure we get some biblical terms, just really lay out the foundation of what these things are, what they are. I mean, what are they, these terms mean, and so we're going to define it with clarity, and prayerfully you guys catch on to it. And this will help you as you approach the text. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. But I want to start off with, and man, I didn't have time to put some other additional clips in here that I really want to set the tone of this live, this discussion. but we're going to get it in. All right, we're going to get it in. And then, like I said, for those that are watching this on the replay, I want to say peace and blessings to you. I hope and pray that you had a blessed Shabbat. All right, so again, son of perdition, throne addictions, right? Throne addiction. And I'm going to, when I get to a point inside this presentation, you'll understand why I'm using the, in my title, I have throne addiction. Okay. So, and I'll explain that. So, son of perdition, throne addiction. All right. Let's go ahead and get into it. I want to start off with this first question. Was there ever a Jewish president? Was there ever a Jewish president? Let me go. I'm trying to get my mouse back over here. All right. Let me do this. Let me do this here. I am going to drop a question here inside the chat for you guys. You guys know how I like doing things. I like to interact here. And so let's see here. Was there ever a Jewish, oops, I'm in the wrong area. Wrong one. Let me do it this way. Poll. Was there ever a Jewish president? And I'm going to add an extra option here. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to put this poll in the chat, and let's see if we could get at least 100 participants. And if you just joining us here, I encourage you guys to hit that like button coming in the door. Doesn't cost you anything. You can hit that like, thumbs up or thumbs down, but it doesn't cost you anything. So coming into the room, hit that thumbs up. Let's get the likes over 100. And let's also see if we could get the participation here to really get a more of an accurate sample of this this question here. We could get a really sample of exactly, what everyone thinks, So if we could get 100, that's a great number to really land on. All right. So far, looking here, I see 53% says yes, 14% says no. So right now we had 35 votes. Oh, excuse me, not votes, votes. All right. So let's go ahead and while that's going, let's go ahead and do a couple of things. Let's give some shout outs here. Let's give some shout outs while we get to 100. We had 42 votes right now. Let's get those responses up. Let's get those click that button. Let's get the participation really going here. All right. So let's give some shout outs real quick as we get ready to get into it. First, I want to give a shout out to Elder. Thank you, Elder, for the love and support. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for holding things down in California. Again, thank you for all that you do. Really appreciate you. All right. So was there ever a Jewish president? Family, let's show some love to our elder who is in the building. All right. So, but let's give some shout outs real quick. Let me get this going here. All right. Go back to the live. All right. So I want to give some shout outs. I can't go all the way up to the beginning of this chat, but let's go as far as I can. All right. Want to say shout outs to Pure Repentance. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the love and support. Marcia Hamilton, want to say thank you for the love and support. Yvette Rivera, thank you for the love and support. Let's see, who else do we have here? Valerie Gray, thank you for the love and support. For some reason, it's not showing, but I see here Valerie Gray. Valerie, for some reason, my StreamYard is acting up. All right. Shout outs here. Thank you for the love and support. Simba, thank you for the love and support. Nicholas Henry, thank you for the love and support. Let's see here. Who else do we have here? My brother, Berean Scholar, thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate you. Let's see here. Also, Ivan David Tooks, thank you for the love and support. Shalom to you as well. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Son of Thunder. The line ain't, what's that? Oh, come on, man. See, you know, family, you always got to have trolls. All right. You know, always got to have trolls. And you know what? That ties right into the lesson that we're going to get into. You know, you always have to have some trolls in the building. So I'm going to say to this troll right here, and family, you know how we do here. We're going to tell this troll and others that are wanting to troll, listen with intelligence. Right. So we're going to shut this troll down. Right. So let me go ahead and shut this troll down right now. And family, you know how we do again. We're going to listen with intelligence. So let me kick this troll out. All right. You always got to have them. It's just like, you know, for some reason, you know, you always got to have trolls popping up in the building, no matter what we do. And I'm sure that person probably believed that they're super knowledgeable of scripture. All right. Things along that line. So let's put the troll out. All right. So I want to say shout outs. Let's go ahead and continue with the shout outs. And before I continue on, let's see where we are with our question here, our poll. We are at 82 votes. Family, let's get those thumbs up. Let's get those votes up. Let's get to 100. So far, we have almost 50% says yes. As far as in terms of if there was ever a Jewish president, we see 48% says yes thus far. 17% says no. And we have 35% that says not sure. Also want to give a shout out here. I see a super chat here. Let me give a super chat as we trying to get the poll up to 100 participants. Want to give a shout out to James Washington. Really appreciate the love and support. Thank you for the super chat here. Blessings to you as well. Also, again, Pure Repentance. Really appreciate the super chat. And of course, our Elder in the Building family. Let's show some love and support for all our contributors tonight. Really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you guys. Hallelujah. All right. So let's see here. Let's give a shout out to Gene Lott. Of course, my brother, Berean Scholar, Quatazah, Yashara Al. Want to give shout outs to you as well. Shalom to you as well. Who else do we have here? Let's see here. My sister Carol in the building. Shout out to you, Sister Carol. Let's see here. Little sis, Acteria, excuse me for butchering your name. You've been supporting us for quite some time. Blame my brother Jay Highstyle for the mispronunciation of your name. So we blame Jay Highstyle, who's in the building. Shout outs to my brother Jay Highstyle. I want to say peace and blessings to you, my brother, my family. Also, Tanya Horton. I want to say shout outs to you as well. King of Richmond. All right. I want to say shout outs to you. Peace and blessings to you. Are you in the Richmond area as far as the Virginia area? What Richmond area are you in? Hallelujah. If you're in the Richmond area in Virginia, come see us. Come see us. All right. Also, let's see here. Mr. Robert, shout outs to you. Anyone else here? Let's see here. Thasha Roth. Thasha Ra. Excuse me. I had to look at it carefully. All right, to make sure I don't mispronounce the name. Shout outs to you as well. Let's see here. All right. Let's see a couple more. Let's see here. All right. All right. All right. Want to give shout outs to John Robertson, C. McMillan. Shout outs to you as well. All right. All right. Let's see here. All right. So you guys get it. All right. Let's see how we're looking at for what we're looking at for us a poll. All right. All right. We just went over. Just hit 100. So this is a great sample that we could go off of. We have over 100 participants, and really appreciate it. And let's see here. So 44% says yes, that there, was there ever a Jewish president? 44% says yes. 19% says no. 37% says not sure. And we're going to answer this question. All right. And one last thing, family, just a quick plug. Want to say, if you know the word of prayer, if you have a prayer life, say a prayer for what we're doing here. Say a prayer for our ministry. Right now, we acquire property, almost 18 acres of property. And now we're going through the process of getting the approvals. So when I say approvals, for our permits to build the things that we're going to build on it. So keep us lifted up in prayer, because now this is where those prayers can go into those places that we may not physically be able to get to. So our prayers can get into those places where those spaces of the decision makers. So just pray that, we get a favorable vote, because they'll be voting on it at the end of the month. All right. So once they vote on it, then we're going to move into phase 1 of our building. All right. Building project. And we'll make sure you guys get all the invitations to come celebrate with us when we break ground, especially once we complete phase 1 of the project. So I'll talk about that more. And if you guys are interested in Bible study, I'm going to start opening up doors for the Bible study. Shoot me an email. My email address is in the banner that's at the bottom of the page. Shoot me an email address and I'll respond to you. All right. I want to say shout outs to Karen McGrady. Thank you for the love and support. Really appreciate it. And the family, let's show Sister Karen, let's show her some love for the contributions tonight. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So shoot me an email. Bible studies is every third day of the week. Our Torah store study, so to speak, every third day of the week, which is called Tuesday, according to the Gregorian calendar, starts at 7:30 Eastern time. All right. For those that are interested in it, shoot me an email and we'll add you to the Zoom. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Thank you guys again for your participation. Let's go ahead and continue. Let's get into it. Let's answer some questions here. So, was there ever a Jewish president? Was there ever a Jewish president? And we're going to answer this question. Let's start with answering this question here with this article here from the Jewish press, LBJ, and unheralded, Holocaust hero Saul J. Singer is the author of this article, March 1st, 2023. So we're gonna answer this question here. We're gonna answer this question. And why did I bring them up? All right, let's highlight some things from this article. All right, so this is the actual link. The article itself. And I'm going to post a link into the comment section for those that want to vet my sources, because I show sources. I don't like to, one of my pet peeves is when people are doing teachings and they don't properly, they don't show sources to at least give you an idea of the logic or how they come up to whatever conclusions that they may have. So I'm one that shares sources. All right. So let me drop the link here. And you can vet the source, this particular article. LBJ, an unheralded Holocaust hero. All right, so we're just going to highlight a couple of bullets here. Some historians suggest that LBJ may have actually been Jewish because they claim both his maternal great-grandparents were Jewish and his line of Jewish mothers may be traced back 3 generations in his family tree. His maternal great-grandfather, John S. Huffman, and great-grandmother, Elizabeth Perrin, both common Jewish surnames, immigrated from a Jewish region in Germany in 1848. Their daughter, LBJ's grandmother, Ruth Ament Huffman, Mary Joseph Baines, and their daughter, Rebecca Baines, was LBJ's mother. And considering the question of LBJ's Jewish ancestry, Snopes does not reject the possibility out of hand and concludes only that the allegations is unproven. However, it notes that Perrin is actually a Huguenot, in other words, French Protestant who fled France because of religious persecution. Family name that Johnson's ancestors were largely baptized, and that there is no public record of any of them ever identifying as Jewish. Come on, family. But we're going to break this down. We're going to break this down. As a young boy, LBJ watched his politically active father and grandfather work to secure clemency for Leo Frank. See, you see a lot of breadcrumbs here. And I'm going to highlight a couple of things, some of the major things that Lyndon B. Johnson had done for the 1948ers, right? And as you can see here, his parents, as far as when you start getting into his great-grandparents and all, on both sides of his family, were Jewish. But they're saying that, as far as this article was saying, that some, because it's not on record that they're literally saying that they're Jews per se, then that's not, they're not, that's what they're trying to say here. All right. So again, as a young boy, LBJ watched his politically active father and grandfather work to secure clemency for Leo Frank. And for some of you guys that may not know or understand who Leo Frank is, I did a video, a couple of videos on this about Leo Frank. He was the Jewish business owner down in Atlanta, Georgia, down in that area. And it was a big case about a young girl, a teenage girl, I think she was like 13 years old, was raped and murdered, right? And a juror of his peers, and I think it was like 6 of the jurors, and I'm going to bring some of that in here. I'll copy that in here just to make sure we're accurate with the numbers, but it was like 6 out of like 20 jurors. Was it 20? I don't remember the numbers, but anyway, it was 6 of them. Some of them were from his community, voted that he was guilty. In that case, he did not even testify. And what's really some of the facts about this case, when you really unpeel it, right? The layers that this murder occurred during Passover week, right? And what's interesting too is that they tried to put the blame on a brother man. It's a lot. It's a lot. And that's what gave birth to what is called the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. This case right here gave birth to that organization. All right. So we'll try to touch on some of this later, but I want to make sure we stay on code, so to speak, stay on topic. And then if we have time, I'll visit this here. All right. So as a young boy, LBJ watched his politically active father and grandfather work to secure clemency for Leo Frank, the Jewish victim of a libel in Atlanta. So he was lynched. He was hanged, right? What took place after years of him being inside prison, some of the locals, right, went into the prison and hung him. Right. He was, and like I said, it's so much to really unravel here, but we're not going to do it tonight. All right. But nevertheless, the Jewish victim of a blood libel in Atlanta, who was lynched by a mob in 1915. His speechwriter later commented that Johnson often cited Leo Frank's lynching as the source of his opposition to both anti-Semitism and isolationism. All right, so we see just even in this article, it gives some highlights about Lyndon B. Johnson as far as Jewish history. So I want to make sure you guys understand this. When you really study Lyndon B. Johnson, right? He was often described as one of the most pro-Jewish presidents in the United States. But I believe that that title or that crown has been handed down to another individual, as you see, sitting on a throne, right? Throne addictioners, right? But sitting on a throne. So Lyndon B. Johnson's Jewish accomplishments, he helping Jewish refugees before World War II, his support for Israel as a senator and vice president, first U.S. president to sell major arms to Israel, the 6-Day War, civil rights, and Jewish Americans. And we're going to touch on this briefly, real quick here. I may play a video. If it doesn't lock up, I'll play a video so you can hear him using the N-word, right? And it's not N-E-G-U-S, negus. He's using a different word in a form of a slang. Personal relationships with Jewish leaders. So this is a quote from Lyndon B. Johnson. That's right. This is a quote from Lyndon B. Johnson, right about 1964. I'll have those niggas voting Democratic for 200 years. So he came up with a plan to have our people transition, because our people was Republicans. Now, I want to make this clear. I don't roll with any one of them. Both parties are crooked. Both parties are wicked. They could care less about our community. So I don't care about any one of those groups. All right. And neither should you, but you should be aware of what they're doing. All right. So I'll have, as you see here on the screen here, he made it clear that he had a plan to have our people voting Democrats forever, for 200 years, as you see here. Also, under his administration, COINTELPRO is a key federal organization created under Lyndon B. Johnson's administration for surveil, or doing surveillances and all of that, infiltrate, discredit, and disrupt groups considered subversive or a threat to U.S. political order. All right, so this occurred right under Lyndon B. Johnson. Now, let's, point out another thing here. I want to point out another thing. All right. Actually, did I put it here? Now, this is duplicate here. My apologies, family. That's duplicate here. But the other thing I want to point out here is under LBJ's administration, the USS Liberty, and I was trying to put some clips here, the USS Liberty, which is a U.S. Navy technical research vessel, was attacked by the Israeli fighter jets and torpedo boats in international waters off the Sinai Peninsula. And I have a video up here that I uploaded a year ago that I put together that's dealing with this. Right? So under LBJ's administration, the USS Liberty, this Navy vessel, right, technical research vessel, was attacked by Israeli fighter jets and torpedo boats in international waters. And guess what, family? Guess what? Nothing was done. They just simply said they made a mistake. They made an error. You don't make an error like this, family. They were in international waters. But that's a whole nother discussion. But all of this occurred under his administration. Is it a coincidence that he did so much for the 1948ers? Very instrumental in so many different things with them. So let me see if I can play this clip here so you can hear the voice of LBJ using the N-word. Okay, let me see if I can upload it real quick. All right, let's see here. And let me know if you guys can hear this. All right. All right, let's see here. Here we go. This is Lyndon B. Johnson.
You can't have a poll tax. They can say you can't have a gas tax or cigarette tax or anything else. Federal government's telling the states pretty tough what their business is. Now, you can say that they can't discriminate, but I've got to prove that it discriminates, and I can't prove it in Texas. There are more niggers voting there now than white folks. There are more of them buying poll taxes now than white folks. Higher percentage of them. And I can't show that the literacy test is discriminated against because they haven't got any. They got no test at all. Just by God, anybody that can get up and pay $1.06 can vote.
All right, so you heard him using the N-word, the Nigger. I'm sure you guys heard that. Did you guys hear it? If you need me to play it again, just hit the thumbs up if I need to play it again. All right, so he used the N-word, right? And so there you have it. There you have it. Cannot get around it. Cannot get around it. All right, so let's go back to this question. Was there ever a Jewish president? Now, that's Lyndon B. Johnson. I was doing some research on Theodore Roosevelt because he made a lot of concessions to the 1948ers, so I didn't have a chance to really go and really pull all that information together, so I'm not going to touch on him. But let's deal with the current administration. Let's deal with the current administration. Was there ever a Jewish president? In 2018, during Trump's visit to Europe, he was presented with a plaque containing his grandfather's German birth certificate by a German official, right? And this is coming from the New York Post. Trump gifted a gold-framed copy of grandfather's birth certificate from German Chancellor Friedrich Merz. This article was by Anna Young, June 5th, 2025. And you guys probably remember me showing this in the video that I uploaded late last night. Also mentioned that a week ago. So let's go to the article. This is the article right here. And actually, let me drop this link inside the comment section for some of you guys. You can have for your records, and you could later, at a later time, you can vet the source. All right, let's see here. All right, here's the link. Okay. All right, so this is the article. All right, that's the image there. All right, this is what I read here. Copy of his grandfather's birth certificate during their first face-to-face meeting at the White House Thursday. All right. And again, it's making it clear this is dealing with his great-grandfather. No, his grandfather, I believe. Was his great-grandfather's grandfather? I believe it was his grandfather. All right. But it says here, the gold encase present, a reflection of the president's signature Oval Office decor, paid tribute to Frederick Trump, who was born at Karlstadt, Germany in 1869 and later immigrated to the United States. So he's an immigrant, right? He is an immigrant. All right, so let me play a quick video here because I have the clip here before I continue because I want you guys to peep this out. This is the actual video that's inside the link that you'll see inside the chat. Here's the link. Here's the video. Excuse me.
Should we do that on camera? Absolutely. Sure. So to let you know, this is the birth certificate of Donald Trump's grandfather, born in 1869, close to Bad Dürkheim.
Right.
Yeah.
That's called
and his
Syrian.
Christian name was Friedrich.
Right. That's serious German.
Serious German.
That's serious. Bad Dürkheim is serious German. But I want to thank you very much for. First of all, I want to thank you for that. That's
my
beautiful.
pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Fantastic. We'll put it up in a place of honor.
Yeah.
All right, so you see that in the video is his grandfather. So his grandfather was Jewish. His grandfather was Jewish. Can't get around it. Can't get around it. His grandfather was Jewish, and when I was doing the research on him, I came across the video about him being presented that gift, because I remember under his first term, he was presented that. But when I started working on the blotted out video, I was like, okay, let me see if I could find the video for that. And that is for once I get around to completing it. I know I kind of tabled it for a little bit, but I'll give more information on that. But again, his father, or grandfather rather, is born in that area. He's an Ashkenazi. He's connected to the 1948ers. Can I get around it? All right. And as you heard in the video, he was presented with a plaque. He was presented with a plaque confirming his connection to the Ashkenazi, the German community. All right. So, like I said, it's amazing how, especially when you do the research on him, and many of the some of these like Lyndon B. Johnson, some of the things you see how it gets very murky, right? You'll see the ambiguity and all when it comes to trying to see who's who. And with him, it's like very, 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 very murky, right? But when you see this here, just with this video I just shared with you, it confirms his connection to the 1948ers. All right. It like I said, it really confirms his connection to them. All right. So, and like I said, we'll delve into it more, in terms of his connection with them. But again, I just wanted to show you that there is a connection. He is connected to the 1948ers. His grandfather, just like when we touching on Lyndon B. Johnson, we know that he had a connection to them as well. Which is, like I said, is interesting. Like when that's information that you see that is kind of suppressed. But is it a coincidence? All the things that we've seen that Donald Trump has, the edicts that he's done, the things that he's accomplished in his previous administration. He is the one that recognized Jerusalem as being the capital, moving the American United States Embassy to Jerusalem. He did a lot for them. All what you see today in terms of many of the laws being passed, it started in his initial administration. He was the one that came up with this, signed I was about to say an edict. He signed an executive order declaring the name stealers, or should I say the 1948ers, as being a race, as being an ethnic group, all right, which is filled with a lot of confusion. So again, Trump often references German ancestry, specifically his grandfather, as we just highlighted, right, in the territory that he was born in, Karlstadt, Germany. It is a region that is known for Ashkenazi settlements. So his family changed their narrative over time, and the genealogical ambiguity remains, right? Just to really try to make it generic. Okay. And so, but we see his connection. Matter of fact, let me play a couple of additional videos and you'll see his connection, his fight for the 1948ers. You know, this is what he declared here. Let me see if I could go to that video clip. All right, here it is.
We're going to take back our country, and we're going to make Israel great again, and we're going to make Israel great again,
and we're going to make Israel great again.
We're going to make America great again. We're going to make them both great again, greater than ever before.
So he made that declaration that he's going to make them great again. Right? And this is where we get into the acronym MAGA. But anyway, we're going to touch more on this in the future. But right now, I just want to get through this presentation because I want to get to some foundational things here, starting with 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. And I'm going to drop the link for Sister Carol, Berean Scholar. And I thought I saw Jay Heist out, or, you know, even if my cousins are in the building, you guys know what to do. But I'm going to drop this link here. All right, let's see here. All right, so let me play this video clip before we get started. And this is interesting, interesting clip that Candace Owens comments that she made about the situation she's dealing with the Macrons, as well as the 1948ers. Now, peep this out.
So he's saying a lot there. He's talking about a lot of political scandals that have happened recently in France. It all seems to be bubbling towards the surface, and he's calling out these people. What I found to be really interesting about that post is his, first and foremost allegations that they're operating under false identities, and that their claim is that they're protecting their families, dating back to things that took place between 1939 and 1945. That's a very specific timeline. It makes me think about the Epstein case and us going into who the Maxwells were, and my suspicion that a lot of these people laundered their names. As I've said, they've laundered their names following World War II. I don't think because they were the good guys. I don't think because they were doing the right thing. I think because they were in power and have maintained a lot of their power. And so it's very interesting that he's making this allegation, and he's saying that a lot of stuff has been happening in the north of France. And like I said, it all seems to be bubbling to the surface. It's just fascinating. There are just so many players that are involved. And I think this is why there is mass panic, because the entire world is paying attention to what's happening in France. The entire world is paying attention to what's happening with Epstein. And these people are depraved and they are demented. And they, I think, have always been the bad guys throughout history and have seemingly gotten away with it by changing their names and changing their identities. I mean, you now have the patriarchs and the heads of the churches in Jerusalem who are issuing statements about what's happening. The settlers, the absolute gremlins and goblins who go in and are taking over territory. Nope, not paying for it, not by just taking over people's territory, burning their crops, killing their animals, killing their livestock to make it so it's unlivable. And just going, we're going to take it, it's ours. Gremlins, goblins, literally, that's what you are. When you see these people, they are just the most despicable, debased individuals you could ever imagine. And to do this under the context of Holy Land, like we are chosen by whom? Satan? That's the only thing that makes sense. You have to be chosen by Satan to be doing what you're doing. And then to look at us and go, we're the victims. At this moment in time, at this moment in history, who God's chosen actually are. And it ain't the Polish Bibi Netanyahu. If there's ever been to me any person that I would say, most clearly represents the synagogue of Satan, it would be that man and maybe Rabbi Shmuley.
All right. So you see Candace Owens, you heard some of the comments that she made. And she also made an interesting comment. I'll get to it when we get to a certain portion of this presentation about pastors being paid off as well as content creators. And I'm really starting to see, especially among this community, not this community, this awakening, but among our people in general, I'm seeing in certain spaces brothers and sisters from this community, our community, that's behaving kind of suspect, right? And I don't have a problem mentioning one of them. One of them is a comedian by the name of Reese Waters, right? He after this guy, this guy Nick Fuentes or whatever. I mean, he just went and just raked Candace Owens over the coal, mocking our community about the educational level of the nations over in Africa, the whole nine, right? And he did a video on it. And even in the comment section, people were saying, look, even though they don't rock with Candace Owens, but can't let him or anyone feel like they could come into our community and just say whatever they want to say towards anyone of our community. And we just sit back and let it happen. And his response to those people that was commenting and speaking against him in his own chat was, let them fight. Now, family, I'm not sure how you guys were raised, but I was raised old school. Even if you have someone that you may not, relative you may not like, get on your nerve. But guess what? You don't allow anyone to come into your house, come into your family, and call themselves putting hands on them. So this guy, Reese Waters, he actually did a video on Candace Owens saying she's not invited to the party, back to the cookout. And making, just quite a few different things that he's saying and have done. And I'm like, come on now. You don't see the 1948ers behaving this way. The video that I've uploaded with Candace Owens going at two rabbis, you see how they cover each other. You don't see them throwing each other up under the bus, even though one of them is very extreme. Rabbi Shmuley, very extreme. You guys already know that. But this comedian guy, and I'm going to do a video on it because there's some interesting things that he has said that really comes up on that, come up on my, like if I had to go old school with Spider-Man, my spider senses is tingling. That something about this guy has, being paid all over it. I seen him just in the past couple of months go from a couple of 100,000 subscribers to over 600, almost 600,000 subscribers, all because he's railing against Candace Owens. And I'm gonna make it clear here: I don't rock with a lot of the things that Candace Owens has said or done. But guess what? She has said something. She's touching on things that have pushed our argument to a level that none of these others have done that call themselves, I'm from within our awakening, but in other spaces has done. So I give her credit for that. She's been standing on whatever she's standing on, she stands on it firmly. None of us have seen anyone go against the 1948ers, right, successfully. We have not seen that. But anyway, got Sister Carol here, got Berean Scholar here. Shout outs to you guys. Anything you guys want to say before we get into some foundational things, and you guys can chime in at any time once we get started on that. But any comments you guys want to make? Before you guys respond, yes, I've seen his wife. That's what's interesting. I've seen his wife, so trust me. I've done some research on him. I'm like, wait a minute. the very things he's trying to say she's not invited back to the cookout for, he got some questionable things going on about himself. Right? Who he's married to. But this is where we can be very selective in who we give a pass for. But anyway, go ahead, guys. I don't want to hog it up here. I said for you guys to go ahead and give some comments here, and then I jump right back out there.
Sister Carol.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sister Carol, you about to have me go Queen Latifah back in the day, ladies first.
Oh, I don't have any comment. I don't even know who this person is you're talking about. So I'm just
Reese
sitting in the
Waters,
cut.
the comedian.
Oh, I do.
Him. I don't
brother
know him.
man, he's married to Miss. I think she's like Miss Ohio.
Becky. She's married Becky with
He must be a low level. He must be a low level comedian because he's not of the A-list comedians. So I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Low level.
So,
yeah, he's low level. That means he's on the chitlin circuit of comedians. He probably has social media comedian skit wise, but other than that, I don't know who he is. He's nobody.
Okay. But I still got to address it because it's not just him; it's others as well.
Right.
And I'm seeing this pattern among our community, not just brother men, sisters as well. Saying that saying some crazy things that has the 1948ers sent all over it.
Well, it makes sense then. They've paid him, so that's why he's increased his subscribers, and they probably did a deal with him so he can elevate to a level where he can get on stage and go in comedy clubs. So that makes sense. He's trying to make a name.
But isn't that the MO that they do all the time?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, just like you said, Pastor Kelly, I'm not riding with any one of the political parties. But during the campaign, I saw a lot of our people online wearing MAGA stuff and going all this. And right after the campaign, all those accounts disappeared.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a game. It's
People
political
got
theater.
paid to say things and do things and support people and do lives. But after campaign, they're not
On both
nowhere to be
sides.
found.
Democrats do the same thing. They both do the same thing. They pay celebrities. They pay anybody who can get out in the public, social media, whatever, and galvanize people. And whoever wants to be triggered by that and follow along with their algorithm and do what they want them to do and go vote. And once they have done the job, they go back to their suits and their jobs, their normal jobs. So yeah, that's always been the game from the very beginning.
Yeah, and if I get a chance, I'm gonna try to upload a couple of clips, even with Malcolm X calling it out.
Yeah.
And he gave some powerful messages on just how conniving those spaces are.
Yeah. And we fall victim to
starting
them.
with them, starting with the 1948ers.
We fall victim to it.
And the same thing with our ministers. They do the same thing. They're taking the trips over there and taking the all the other gifts they give them.
Yeah.
Both sides, Democrat representatives and Republican representatives, are now over there spending time and whining and dining with them.
Yeah, they're supposed to. They get
So,
paid to
and
do that.
speaking of that, go ahead, Sister Carol. I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was going to say no. That's normal. They've always done that. They're all friends. That's not about the party.
Sister Carol, you're gonna have to go, let me know when you keep going, because you put your pause, you like in the flow. I'm trying to get your flow here. I'm saying it like when the poetry. So every time it seems like you finish, that I get ready to say something, it's like I'm cutting you off. I gotta get your flow. All right.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right. But this is Candace Owens, and this is what she pointed out about crooked pastors being paid, being flown in. But I know they're doing more than that. I'll play this real quick, family, but I'm going to use this to kind of segue into giving you guys some foundational understanding of the difference between the Antichrist and the son of perdition. because I see in the comment sections, I see in certain spaces, you see this word Antichrist is being used loosely. All right, but let's hear what she says here.
I know that these churches, these mega churches, otherwise, they can be sponsored on trips to, these, like, they're well taken care of. They go over on these overseas trips by these organizations that purport to be alliances. And they said, yes, actually, this was one of these trips. It was sponsored by an organization called Eagle Wings, which is a quote unquote alliance between Christians and Jews.
This is the Mount of Olives. It is a small mountain just outside the city of Jerusalem. I took this picture, or somebody took it of me, in December 2018 when I had an encounter with God that changed my life forever.
All right, so that organization is an alliance between the Christian and the 1948ers sponsoring trips, and you guys know this guy from the 2819 church, how suddenly, he's been he's like in the stratospheres and all of that when it comes to his channel and his ministry growing. And you also hear some things that he has said, and we'll play it a little later as we build up and give you clarity on the difference between the Antichrist versus the son of perdition. So we're going to build in Berean Scholar, Sister Carol. You guys know how we do. Whenever you guys want to chime in, just let me know. And family, take notes, because this is foundational things that I want to just make sure that we're all on the same page with understanding. So we're going to let the scriptures speak for itself. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into it. All right. So as you see on your screen, you see 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. All right. So let's go there. 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. And it reads, little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist, right, Antichristos, right, shall come. Even now there are many Antichrists, Antichristos, right? So this right here alone should knock down this thing that we keep seeing come to surface as if there's one Antichrist, right? And when we think of Antichrist, it's always like someone in a political position, or you hear the name Pope. Let me take it to the scriptures itself for you guys to understand who really is the Antichrist. So we see here, little children, it is the last time, right? Their last time is, we're going back towards their time of the affliction that they had to deal with when dealing with 70 AD, right? The sacking of Jerusalem. All right. So we see here again, right? Little children, it is the last time. So he's dealing with their pressing times, right? Their end of what life of what they know it, end of Jerusalem, end of Israel as they know it at that time. Their world as they know it at that time. Little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now there are what? Many Antichrists. So even when he says even now, this is during the time of when this letter was written, during the time when the disciples were still living, walking the face of the earth, saying that there are what? Many Antichrists. So the Antichrist have, these guys have been around. So I want to make sure you guys understand. It says, whereby we know it is the last time. So just this passage right here should knock down any poor teachings of who and what the Antichrist is. But I still have to understand, I'll give you clarity on who the Antichrist is. We know that according to this passage, there is what? There's multiple. We see Antichrist plural. All right. So I'm not going to say, but nevertheless, we must know that it is the last time, that the midnight hour is what they're referring to. So their last time is what they're referring to, or what we'll call today the midnight hour, or should we say the third watch, right? That's a whole nother discussion. Well, actually, that'll be the middle watch, but truly they're referring to the third watch when we say midnight. But last time really means the last hour, the midnight hour before the appointed time of Yahweh. So this will actually be the third watch, right? But anyway, how do we know that we are in the last hours? Okay, that's the question. 1 John chapter 2, verse 19 and 20 through 22 is going to answer this as well. Look at this here. They went out from us. Wait a minute. So we're still dealing with the Antichrist, plural. But notice it says here in verse 19, it says, they went out from us. Wait a minute. So it did not say that the Antichrist are Europeans. It didn't say that the Antichrist are the other nations. It says they. Who are the they? Who are the they that John is referring to? Said they went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. So we see the Antichrist are what? Or who? Brothers and sisters that are among the Israelites, that are among the people, saying that they were among them, but then they left. They separated themselves. So if you say Donald Trump is the Antichrist, that makes absolutely no sense. Even though we're going to deal with the son of perdition. So right now, we're going to focus on the Antichrist, all right? Let's focus on the Antichrist, and then we'll deal with the son of perdition, okay? So again, this is tying into the Antichrist, plural. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us. All right. Verse 20, but ye have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things. I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth. So he's saying here, look, I'm not writing this to you because you guys don't know. I'm writing this to you because you guys do know. In other words, when you know that something is happening, if you know this truth, your behaviors and how you operate should be better. You should function a certain way. Like some of our brothers and sisters, we have to be real in this awakening. If you say you know the truth, if you know the scriptures, our behavior should be a reflection of that. We should move a different way. We should move differently than some of the things that are some of the behaviors that we see. But anyway, verse 22, who is a liar? Still dealing with that Antichrist, right? Who is a liar? But he that denieth that Yahushua, Hamashiach, in other words, Jesus the Christ, he is an Antichrist. So when we see he, this is dealing with male and female, that denieth the Father and the Son. Now, I know some of you guys may be saying here, well, you know what? You got people in the church that says they believe in Christ. They believe in the Father. They believe in the Son. Right? Notice you don't see any reference to the Trinity here. But anyway, that's another discussion. Stop instigating Berean scholar. But anyway, right? So what does this mean? Right? When we see here, how can you deny the Messiah as well as deny the Father? Well, if you reject his law, statutes, and commandments, you're rejecting the Messiah. You're rejecting the Father. Because guess what? You cannot say, and this inside the scriptures, we're going to highlight this here in a second. You cannot say that you are following the Messiah and you speaking against the commandments. You cannot say that you following the Father through his Son. And the Son said in John chapter 7 that the doctrine that he teaches is not of his own, but of that who has sent him, which is the Father. So the Messiah never taught against the law, statutes, and commandments. That's a whole nother discussion. I can prove that Scripture upon scripture. We've been teaching this for years. But again, the spirit of Antichrist, right? This is what we're dealing with when you have people teaching that we're not under the law. We don't have to obey the law, statutes, and commandments anymore. When they start teaching this replacement type theology. So many layers to it. But they are teaching what? Another Messiah. They're not teaching the Messiah of the scriptures. Who is a liar? But he that denieth that Yahweh HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, he is Antichrist that denieth the Father and the Son. So we know because there are so many who are denying the true Messiah, right? That's how we're going to know that we're living in challenging times that's getting closer and closer to the return. We're going to start seeing the signs of his return according to Matthew 24. After the great tribulation, after the tribulation, we're going to start seeing signs because there's going to be a mourning. All right. But anyway, so the Antichrist, these are those that deny the deity of the Son, that he is the Son of Yahweh. Right? We see a lot of that. Many trying to minimize who the Messiah is. They are denying that he is the sinless Son of Yahweh, who lived a perfect and righteous life. Now, if I had time to put my clips up here, I would have shared with you of how, what's his name? Jamal Bryant said that Hamashiach was in error 80% of his life. He was wrong. All right. So they deny his death. They deny his resurrection. They deny that he died as a perfect sacrifice for Israel's sins and that he rose from the dead to conquer death. They are denying his authority. They deny his return to the earth. So again, they went out from us, but they were not of us. See, the Antichrist were among us, and now they separated themselves, right? They walk among the truth, but they were never truthful, right? They were never true. The Antichrist even became teachers. They became ministers among us, but they were not true. The Antichrist had a form of godliness, but denying the authority of the Most High. Come on, family. So let's peep this out. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. This is Paul speaking here, writing to Timothy. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Doesn't it sound familiar? Without natural affection, truce breakers. Come on, covenant breakers. Come on now. False accusers, incontent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of Yahweh. We see this in this awakening. We see this inside the Christian Catholic Church. We see this right across the board. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. So John says there's multiple antichrists, right? The Antichrist were among the Israelites. Remember this. Hamashiach called them wolves in sheep's clothing. So they're going to look like you and I. They're going to sound like you and I. But guess what? Their spirits is going to be foul. Their agenda is going to be predators. Their agenda is going to be contrary to what the scriptures tell us how leaders are supposed to be. Matthew 7, verse 15, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. So this is why, have you noticed that a lot of these pastors, especially that look like you, look like me, they starting to wear their beards, full beards, like they're a part of the awakening. They're starting to wear dashikis, even their mannerism and all. On the outside, they'll give you the impressions that they have awakened to who they are. They're teaching the law, statutes, and commandments until they open their mouth. Any comments, guys, before I continue?
Go ahead, brother. Roll on. Let the word speak for itself.
All right. Got you. Sister Carol?
Yeah, keep going.
All right. So beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistle? All right. So the Messiah is making it clear we're going to know them, right, by their fruits. This means that we have to have discernment. So these brothers and sisters, they're going to look like you and I. They're going to talk like you and I. They're going to walk like you and I. But guess what? Through discernment, when you start understanding the word, then you get to see who are the true Antichrist that was among us that now what? Came from being among us. Here's a sample of what the scriptures would tell us is the Antichrist who came from among us. Let me play a couple of clips by this guy.
No, let me talk heavy for just a second. For everybody that think he's the baby in the manger, no, he's the one that got eyes like fire. And who's wearing a robe that's been dipped in blood. Who got a tattoo on his thigh that says King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Jesus was not a black man. I saw this well-known preacher on Easter Sunday was saying he was preaching that Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, the death, burial, and resurrection that they preach about was all about the persecution of a black man, and that how Jesus was a black man, and that his evidence that Jesus was a black man was because he didn't get a fair trial by the Roman government, and that he used that, begin to manipulate the black men in the room and start declaring.
Sorry about that, guys. I couldn't listen to all of that. Make my ears hurt. Making my ears hurt. Family, that's the example of the Antichrist. Now, there's others, and you guys have seen them, that was part of this awakening, and they walked away.
Yep.
They walked away. That is what this is saying. You got one brother, I can't remember his name. I always forget his name. And he flagged my video when I called him out, right, for calling him out. Calling him an Antichrist. Now, I showed a clip of his video. He called himself the at one time the Aquapina God and all this other stuff. He helped wake up so many brothers and sisters in this awakening. And he did a video, I think it's Callback Judah, something like that, Jacob, something like that. But he don't believe now. He's all into some Kemet. I mean, he's out there. He's out there. That is an Antichrist teaching among us, walking the walk, talk the talk, but never had the truth on the inside of them. There's others that was in this awakening, right, that had large platforms, now don't believe at all, right? They came in just to be disruptive, right, trying to call people out, trying to point fingers, and all of a sudden, now you go to their channels, you'll see that they are on some other stuff. Mm-hmm. That is the Antichrist, right? That's why you see, I when I do my presentations, they're done in a way, right, I'm very strategic, I'm very calculated. There's a reason why you see Creflo Dollar up there. There's a reason why you see TD Jakes up there and Juanita Bynum. Matter of fact, TD Jakes' daughter, who he turned the keys over to, she was up there. They were up there doing boots in the ground inside their assembly. Literally singing and doing boots on the ground. Those are Antichrist, family. I know this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but guess what? There's so many people, like the Messiah said, that's going to say, Lord, Lord, in Matthew chapter 7, say, I did this in your name. I did that in your name. In other words, I cast out demons in your name. They're going to say they did all of these different things in the name, the reputation of the Messiah. And the Messiah is going to say, I don't know who you are. Work of what? Iniquity. In other words, bender, twister of the law. So every last one of these individuals, they teach against the law. Got to bring news to you. Our brothers and sisters that are still in that church, who are now having all of this information that we have, teaching against the law, guess what? They fall up under the Antichrist. If they're teaching that we don't have to honor the law, statutes, and commandments, Oh, let me prove it here real quick. Let me prove it here. I'm gonna prove it here. Right? Y'all trying to instigate. Yeah, I see what you guys doing. Y'all, you guys are being silent so that way I could talk more. And now I gotta
Stir
show
him
some
up.
facts here. I see what you guys doing.
Stir
All
'em
right,
up.
Sister Carol and Berean Scholar. I see what you guys. I see how y'all moving tonight. But guess what, guys? The Antichrist doesn't know the true Messiah. How do we discern? 1 John chapter 2, verse 3. Look at this here. And hereby we do know that we know him if we what?
Keep his commandments.
If we keep his commandments. Wait a minute. So you're telling me, Pastor, that, wait a minute, the Antichrist, the only way we're going to, the key that we're going to know the distinguish, that's going to make a distinction between or distinguish who's the Antichrist, the anti-Messiah or La Mashiach is whether or not they embrace the commandments. That's the thing that's going to delineate, or this is like the delimiter, so to speak, between who's who. The Antichrist is not commandment keepers. So guess what? The church is, all our brothers and sisters that are up in there, guess what? They're under the spirit of anti. And those leaders that are teaching them, they are anti. Wait a minute, Pastor, but they got these large ministries, man. They sing and they can sound good. Anti-Christ, anti-Messiah. Why? Because they're teaching against his commandments. And hereby, and this is what John is saying, and hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. Didn't say one, it says commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, he is a what? He's a liar. And the truth is not in him. So the Antichrist is a covenant breaker because the 10 commandments is part of the covenant, right? The Antichrist is a commandment breaker. The Antichrist is a liar. And when we look at the Greek word for liar, as we see here, Sios, taste, right? It says here, a falsifier, one who breaks faith. So a falsifier, we see that's happening, how they're making up that we're not under the law, and they're breaking what? How many times we've seen people coming out with videos? I used to be a Hebrew Israelite. That right there's a red flag, making it clear that they never understood what their identity is. They were in it to try to get quick, fast, in a hurry notoriety. Because when you truly understand this, what it means to be an Israelite, guess what? It's not about how you behave. It's all about what's in your bloodline.
Exactly.
So if you could be an obedient Israelite, or you could be a rebel. That's that. Ezekiel deals with Israelites that are rebellious, that are rebels, going against the things of the Most High. But it still means that you are an Israelite. Being an Israelite is not based on a religion. This is not Judaism. This is not the definition of what it means to be a Jew. To be a Jew, you could practice a religion. That's the key, practicing Judaism. But being an Israelite, I gotta sound a little Kojic here. You got to be born into it.
I knew where you're going. You're born in it.
Got to be born in it. How many guys came up Kojic? We are the church of God in Christ, right? I was in Kojic for 10 years. Became a minister in Kojic, right?
I walk that same path with you, brother.
So an Antichrist is a liar, a falsifier, one who what? Breaks faith. And then we go to the Greek root of this word. It says here, to utter an untruth or attempt to deceive by falsehood, to deceive one by a lie. What is that big lie, right? That we don't have to honor the law, statutes, and commandments. Or they'll say, oh, well, the new commandments is love one another, love the Father and love one another. That's not what the Messiah said in Matthew chapter 19. He said, if you want eternal life, you have to honor what? The commandments. Because the young ruler, the young Israelite, who is very knowledgeable, he asked him a question, what must I do to have eternal life? And the Messiah told him that you have to what? Honor the commandments. He didn't start quoting love one another and love the Father. No, he started quoting from the 10 commandments. So you cannot say that you are following the Messiah and you teaching against the law, statutes, and commandments. That means that you're going to be under that classification as being what? A work of iniquity. And the Messiah is going to say to you, I don't know who you are. And you can start sounding like the water boy by saying, my mama say, or the pastor say. It doesn't matter. Like that old school song that we all grew up in, got taught in the Baptist church, is me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Right? That song is telling you, it's basically about accountability, going to the Father for yourself, telling him exactly what you need. You know what I mean? Standing in the need of prayer. You are standing before him on your own. You cannot say to the Father that you're in this predicament because of other people. All right. So when we look at liar from a Hebraic school of thought, look at here again, to lie, liar, lying, be in vain, deceive. So the Antichrist is someone who utters truth and deceive through lies. So what's the actions of someone who truly walks in truth? We went over it, but look at this, verse 8. Again, a new commandment I write unto you. And we know this is not a new commandment. It's a renewing of the commandments. This particular one right here, it's a renewing because it's in Torah. So mark it off in your transliterations. It's not new. It's the Hebrew word is chadash, right? And chadash means renew, to make anew, right? So again, a new commandment I write unto you, which things is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shineth. He that said he is in the light, hateth his brother, is in darkness even until now. So this is dealing with what? Loving your brother. Okay. Leviticus 19 gives you clarity on what it means to love one another, love our brethren. Okay. So it says that he that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. All right. So this is not a new commandment, loving one another. Again, Leviticus chapter 19 gives you clarity. So is loving one another a new commandment? No. I just pointed it out. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt what? Love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. So this is not a new commandment. So what is some of the actions of someone who does not love the Father? Well, guess what? John chapter 8, verse 44. It says here, you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. So now we're dealing with the spirit of Hasatan, and this is saying that that spirit of Hasatan was a murderer from the beginning, because guess what it did? It made a point to what? Kill, right? The will, right? The faithfulness, the relationship of Adam and Eve from the very beginning. It's that same Hasatan that got into the minds of Cain to have him kill his own brother. So he was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is what? A liar, and the father of it. So Hasatan, Satan, is the father of lies. So John gives additional warnings about the Antichrist. Going back to 1 John chapter 4, look at this, verse 1 through 3. But it says, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are from Yahweh. How many times you guys have heard this in the church? Try the spirit by the spirit in the church. But they have no clue that this is dealing with Antichrist. The very ones that saying you're not under the law, I'm not under the law. This passage is telling us right here, we have to what? Not believe every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Starting with what? The obedience to the commandments, right? Hereby we know ye the spirit of Yahweh, every spirit that confesses that Yahweh Hamashiach is come in the flesh is of Yahweh. But guess what? We got to make sure the commandments is added to this, because Christ made it clear that there's going to be so many that's going to confess that the Messiah is Adonai. And guess what? He's going to say, I don't even know who you are. Why? Because they are what? Being lawless. Okay, verse 3. And every spirit that confesses not that Yahweh Hamashiach is come in the flesh is not of Yahweh. And this is the spirit of the Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and now already it is it in the world. So they're saying, wait a minute, the Antichrist is already here. So that Antichrist is already here during their time. Guess what? It's still here during our time. That Antichrist, that La Mashiach. Any comments, guys?
You on the only person you didn't hit on. You hit on the church. Even in this awakening, we got people. This awakening, we got people who are letting the spirit of Antichrist influence them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You hit it on the nail. And my apologies for not pointing that out, because I meant to mention that. But that's right. You got brothers and sisters here. And I call them messianics. Messy antics, right? Yeah, messy antics Israelites, messy antics brews, right? Who are teaching that we don't have to obey the law, statutes, and commandments. They brought Christianity over to the awakening. They have brought that doctrine over to the awakening and now teaching that. Yes, they are anti. They are anti-Messiah, because the Messiah never taught that. Never taught that.
To make a difference. Now, there's some people who are walking in just ignorance because they don't know. But the ones who are confronted, shown the truth, and still deny the truth, that's walking in the spirit of Antichrist.
Absolutely. Now, here's the kicker. Even though those that's walking in it and don't know, they're still under that spirit because they're being led.
Correct.
Right.
So even though it's just like if I'm driving in a stolen car, right, and you in the car with me, guess what's happening?
I'm guilty of you.
You're guilty by association.
Guess what?
Exactly.
Guess what? The car is still what? Stolen.
Correct.
Right? Even though you may not be fully aware of the car being stolen, but you are sitting in a stolen car. That means that the entire car is stolen. My seat that I'm sitting in, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm in a stolen car. You sit in the passenger seat. Doesn't mean that your seat is not stolen, right? You still in a stolen car. So it's the same thing that what's that law of ignorance? I got to think of it now. I think is it Numbers chapter 35, but it says that we're still judged by what we know and don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pull that up here in a little bit. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up here now. But there's a law of ignorance, for those because many of our brothers and sisters purposely don't want to know because they don't want to be held accountable. Because you've done evangelism. How many people that you've met that you go to share the truth with them? They say, oh, no, they start making noise over you, trying to overtalk you, saying, no, I don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want the accountability.
Well, that's your family members. That's your children that you're raising in your houses, that you're not bringing this truth to, who are rejecting it. And they're going to be accountable for it. Ignorance or not, they will have to be dealing with this. And that's the real deal, is that our family members are the ones who are Antichrist.
And that's the thing that's hard. Go.
The scripture you just brought out, they came out from among us. They were with us, but they came out from among us. That's what we said in 2 John. First John.
Yes, that's who exactly you're talking about. Is our people, our family members. I mean, look how you ostracized by your family members, and they are Antichrist. Let's just keep it real. You have Antichrist in your households who goes against this, and all what you're doing, keeping the commandments, keeping the Shabbat today, everything that went on that you now have decided and shifted yourself out of the Christianity into now following the commandments, if they're staying over there in among all that Christianity, they are Antichrist. And you have to come to grips with that in your household. Forget about these other people
Absolutely.
walking around. Deal with your household.
And peep this out. This is coming from Numbers chapter 15. And this is one of the scriptures that the Christian church, many that defends, saying that we don't have to honor the law, statutes, and commandments, they'll take this the Shabbat, and they'll use this text to cherry pick to say, look, you mean to tell me, okay, this or somebody's not honoring Shabbat, that means that they have to be killed? You mean we still up under that law? The passage is not about someone breaking the Shabbat. That is an example of someone who broke the Shabbat purposely, right? But here, that's all part of the laws of ignorance. I'll read it real quick. Numbers chapter 15. This is starting at verse. We'll start at verse 20. No, actually, let me go up. Yeah, verse 25. Actually, man, let me go up a little further. We'll start at verse 24, right? Then it shall be, if aught be committed by ignorance, without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer young bullock for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor unto Yahweh, with his meat offering and his drink offerings according to the manner of one kid of the goats for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for all of the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven, for it is ignorance, right? And they shall bring their offerings, a sacrifice made by unto the fire, unto Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh for their ignorance. But look at this. Let's get into it here. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel and the strangers that sojourn among them, seeing all the people were in ignorance. And if any soul sin through ignorance, then shall he bring a she-goat. So it's still dealing with the offering. Let me go down here. And the priest shall make an atonement for this soul that sinneth ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before Yahweh, to make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven. Ye shall have one law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourn among them. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land of or a stranger, the same reproach Yahweh, and that soul shall be cut off from among the people. So you see what it says here. So there's still, even though it's done in ignorance, there's still an accountability. It's still in sin. Now, if there's someone, like to the point that you're making, if someone is just purposely, right, presumptuously testing, and this is when the Messiah talked about tempting, when Hasatan wanted to tempt the Messiah to purposely do something that's going to tempt the Most High, like basically jumping off the ledge. That's tempting, right? That's testing the Father, right? So we, right, even though we may be ignorant, that's why we even say prayers, like when we taught how to pray, Yah, forgive me for things that I know and the things I don't know. Forgive me for the things that I have done, that I may have sinned knowingly, and the things that I may have done not knowingly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So even though you may not know, it's still sin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we need to try the Spirit.
Yeah.
And you made a great point, Pastor, when you said about riding in the car. If I'm riding in the car, you stole the car. I didn't steal the car, but I'm riding with you. I'm a part of that crime. All I did is got in the car with you. But because I'm there with you, I'm a part of the crime. And that's something, and you came out of Kojic. One of my mentoring elders used to tell me, son, because I was so excited about fellowship with everybody, because when I came into the church, I was fresh, new, excited, everything was great. So anybody said they would believe, I was going and talk to them and share with them. He said, be careful how many tables you eat off of, because you can get sick eating off everybody's table. So what are you talking about? He said you might be careful who you listen to and who you listen to teach, because sometimes if you don't know it enough for yourself to rightly divide the word of truth, you can be deceived. And we got a lot of people out here doing a lot of things just to get clicks, and they're deceiving our people.
Absolutely. You hit it right on the nail. And family, that's why it says here, right? Every spirit that confesses, not that Yahweh Shah Mashiach is in the flesh, come in the flesh, is not of Yahweh. And this is the spirit of the Antichrist. Wherefore, whereof ye have heard that it should come. But it says, and even now already it is in the world. So that means we have to work out our own salvation through what? Fear and trembling. You know, going back to that stolen car analogy, you go before that judge, the judge is going to ask you, well, did you ask? You know what I mean? Did you ask where your friend got the car from?
Exactly.
Did you ask if everything is straight before you got in the car? You know, so it you know, and man, I was raised in stolen car capital of the world, so that's why I had to default to that analogy. Newark, New Jersey, right? Brick City, right? So remember, family, the Antichrist, plural, comes from within, right? So Yahushua warns his disciples about the rise of the Antichrist during the beginning of sorrows, right? This is dealing with crooked preachers. This is dealing with crooked prophets, these people that's tossing around that word anointing. See, the problem is part of the delusion that we've been subjected to is that we're not correlating the word Christ or Messiah to the word anointed. Because in Kojic, they throw that word around. Everybody's anointed. Oh man, the way way such and such opened up that door, they're anointed to open up that door. The way such and such sang that song, they're anointed to sing that song. The way such and such picked those, the way they put those tables up, they're anointed to put the tables up. You hear that word anointed tossed around so much. That is still synonymous to the word Christ or Messiah, because that's what it means. So when we go here, this is what the Messiah said to them. And he sat upon the mountain of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately saying, no, see, they didn't try to call him out publicly because he said something that they didn't understand. He went to them privately saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Now they walking with the Messiah. But it's saying, hey, take heed, let no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name saying, I am Mashiach. I am what? Anointed. And shall what? Deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And you can confirm this with Josephus. Gives an account of the sacking of Jerusalem and how it was like a dog eat dog world, how the prophets, the leaders were hustling the people. They were entering into secret agreements with the Romans. All right, so Yahushua warned his disciples about the rise of the Antichrist during the Great Tribulation. And then we go to Matthew 24, verse 21 through 26. For then shall be what? Great tribulation. So we already dealt with the time of sorrows. The time of sorrows, the beginning of sorrows, that is an affliction for the sacking of Jerusalem. Now we're dealing with the Great Tribulation. Man, we at the end of the Great Tribulation. Now we're transitioning to a third phase. I'll deal with that another time. I know some people was like, what? Yes, we can't just be starting the Great Tribulation. According to the Christian Catholic Church, we getting ready to go into the Great Tribulation. Well, what has the Negro been going through? What was the transatlantic World War that is on record as being the worst event that ever transpired in the history? Is documented. What was that? That was a great tribulation. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, the beginning of this time, nor not ever shall be. There was nothing like it, and will never be nothing like it afterwards. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So you had the transatlantic world war. In the same time, you had King Leopold killing tens of millions. You had, matter of fact, brother Berean scholar, he brought to my attention about how a guy down in South Africa killed just as many tens of millions with a diamond mine down there. The Arabic war, the Arabic slave trade that was the precursor to the transatlantic world war, where 40 million of Negroes were murdered, kidnapped, and all that stuff. So to the other side of the Ethiopia or ocean, not the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the side that we see India, which was still part of Ethiopia at one point. Selling them to the Chinese, selling them to Japan, just selling us to whoever would buy. Right? But it says here, let me go back here. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Hamashiach, here is Christ, here is the anointed, or there is the anointed, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs, false messiahs, and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Who's the very elect? The leaders among Israel. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he, in other words, the Messiah, is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Guess what? Believe it not. Come on, family. So the Antichrist comes from within. Let me say that again. The Antichrist comes from within our community, right? But the son of perdition comes from a specific group of people that's outside our community. Did I mess some of the people up that's watching this? The Antichrist, plural, is from within. But the son of perdition comes from the outside. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. I think I probably messed up some people that's watching right now. What do you think?
Yeah. You dropped a hammer on the head with that. Because everything is an antichrist to everybody. You know, the mark of the beast. Ooh, they're gonna have a mark on their forehead. Ooh, the antichrist. Then you're gonna come with the son of perdition dude. Who is this dude?
Pastor, can I ask you to do one thing? Can you go back about that scripture you just read? Now, would I be wrong to read it this way? Wherefore, if she shall say unto me, behold, the anointed one is on this channel.
Oh, come on now.
The anointed one is on this live.
Come on now.
Come on now. The Christ is synonymous with the anointed, right?
Right.
Come on now.
That's what's going on. When you say that's what's going on. We're jumping from here to here to here to here, and we're setting ourselves up for deception.
Now we used to call that church hopping, right? Or recycling saints, right? Now we see what, like you said, channel surfing, going from one channel to another channel. Man, let me give you this 3-piece that you just delivered. Yeah, you just delivered a 3-piece on that one, man.
Well, it's just too many things going on. You know, it's not sick because it's about 3 people that I listen to. And that's it. I listen to because they have certain things. But the other people out, you know, you gotta be very careful about, you know, who you feed from.
You hit it on the nail. That's right. You heard it, family. See, it's not just going to these secret meetings or going into different territories in terms of physical spaces like other countries or other states, or going from the city to the suburbs or rural area. No, it's also, like he pointed out, jumping from platform to platform, you know, that itching ear. That's part of that spirit of having that itching ear, looking for something that someone that's going to teach something about, or doctrine about something that you don't want to let go. And guess what? There's a ministry for anything you don't want to let go.
That's true.
So,
They want to go ahead, Pastor.
Oh, you give her say something?
No, I ain't want to hold you up. Go ahead and keep going.
So the son of perdition comes from a specific group, family. Who is the son of perdition? Is the son of perdition Judas? Right? Because, you know, you hear this, but I'm here to tell you no. Right? John 17, verse 11 and 12. This is what some will go to. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee, Holy Father. Keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, they may, that they may be one as we are. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that go that thou gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scriptures might be fulfilled. So we see the son of perdition here, but we're going to knock this down real quick. All right. Perdition, someone that's what? Ruin, loss, damnable, right? Destruction, utter destruction, waste, pernicious ways. All right. So, but the son of perdition, as you said here, that the scriptures might be fulfilled. Right. And we see here, this is giving us some additional information here, but that the scriptures may be fulfilled. But let me go to where the Messiah is quoting from. The 41st book of Psalms, verse 9. Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, he that lifted up his heel against me. So this is what it's referring to, right? Judah, right? Yahweh betraying the Messiah, right? So is Paul's prophecy in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 referring to this Judas? No, because Judas was already dead. You know what I mean? So I just want to make sure you guys understand this, because there's so many doctrines out there. No, this is not dealing with Judas, that was one of the disciples. So what's the difference between Judas, the son of perdition, and the son of perdition that in Paul's prophecy? We want to break this down. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. All right. Let me go back here. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except for there come a falling away, right? Falling away. That's where you get the word Napal, or you guys may hear the word Nephilim, right? Because many will automatically default to giants, right? No, but Nephilim also means tyrant. It means bully, right? So that's what this is dealing with, falling away. It's also means falling away. So except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. But look at this here, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. Oh, that now we're getting some attributes here. Did Judas ever put himself in that position? The Judas that betrayed the Messiah? He's dead. He's gone. This is dealing with something completely different. Let me fast forward here. All right. Let me go to this video clip that you see playing here on my presentation. Let me go to that clip and let you guys hear what is actually being said here. All right. Let me pull it up here. This is a key attribute of the son of perdition. Where is it?
And you know what else, Jim? I just want to say this to our Christian friends, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us, because we all die for your sins every single day. And that's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah.
We're all God's firstborn, and we're dying for your sins right now because the Jewish people in the land of Israel are the bulwark against the orcs.
Mhm.
Okay? The orcs are coming not to a theater near you, but to your home.
So you heard what he said, right? He said that he told that pastor that the church basically they should all be worshiping all the 1948ers, not Hamashiach, but should be worshiping all the 1948ers. And the orcs, right? He's referring to us. He's referring to the Negro. That's who he's really referring to with the orcs, if you understand the Talmud. And the Talmud refers to us as strange creatures. No, Gino, Philippi, no. It's not the Arabs. No, it's the Negro. It's not the Arabs. Don't get it twisted. It's the Negroes. Right? Don't get it twisted. Right? Let me give you a little sample for those that may not know or have been on this channel to see this. But let you hear what this rabbi have to say about the Negro.
This world and the next world are asymmetrical. The next world is where the majority of a person's actions, which determine his identity, are compensated. For the righteous, they exist in the world to come and they're rewarded. And for those whose major complexion is black, are excluded from the world to come.
Wait a minute. That rabbi just said those who have the skin complexion of black are not included in the world to come. But I'm not going to stop there. Let's see what this Sefer Bible CEO has to say.
Hitler was, and the Nazis, of course, expanded on Margaret Sanger's approach to eugenics, right? Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, right? To eliminate them. With the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah, with
the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African American community in this country, right? To eliminate them.
All right, so this has nothing to do with the Arabs. Actually, the Arabs, along with the 1948ers, which I refer to as that they call themselves the Jews, right? And the Christian or the Catholic Christian Church, because I'm putting Catholic first because the Christian Church comes from the Catholic Church. All three of these so-called Abrahamic faiths have one major thing in common, and that is the enslavement of the Negro. That is the enslavement of my brothers and sisters that's on this channel, that are watching and that's up here on the panel right now. All three of these belief systems use the scriptures, twisted it up to enslave our people, those Arabs, that's right, that are descendants of Turks, just like the Khazars, descendants of Turks. All these people came together to form an alliance, right? And I'm going to break down who the son, the son of perdition is, right? To create a crafty council to enslave the very people that is on the short end of the stick. That's right. Racism goes on right now in these Arab states right now, where they do all kinds of crazy stuff to our brothers and sisters. I've been over there. I've experienced some of it in military uniform. So I can tell you firsthand that what you just said is completely off. It's wrong. Any comments, guys, before we move on?
Yeah, you nailed that one.
Yep.
So with that video I shared, family, one of the key attributes of the son of perdition is the desire to be worshiped as a savior. So what did we just hear from the video clip that we played? They telling that rabbi telling that pastor that all the church should be worshiping them so they could protect them from the orcs. What's one of the key attributes that we see this person sitting on his throne here in the image? He wants to be worshiped. I didn't have a chance to put the tank up in here. I meant to put the tank up in here, the squeaky tank. He wants to be worshiped. It's not something we should be surprised about, because it's not just him that wants to be worshiped. Guess what? The men from their communities want to be worshiped. That's the whole underlining root to Freemasonry. Freemasonry is not about the Negro. It's about the Caucasian man. It's not about the Caucasian woman. It's about the Caucasian man who wants to be worshiped. It's the worship of Gomer. I just got ahead of myself, but the son of perdition ties into Gomer. But we'll take it a step further, because we'll see all what you just mentioned. For example, the Arabs, who are Turks, who are connected to Japheth. We'll see that the Greeks connected to the Japheth, right, by way of Gomer. We'll see the Romans connected to Japheth by way of Gomer. We'll see a number of these nations all up under Gomer, not just Gomer, but also Japheth, that have enslaved our people, that have afflicted our people. And guess what? That's who the true son of perdition is. The descendants, the blood descendants of Japheth. Now I gotta put the scriptures where the mouth is, right? Any comments, guys, as I move forward?
Man, you flowing now.
Yeah, keep flowing.
Yeah, keep going.
The son of perdition was not revealed during 70 AD, because that's the beginnings of sorrows, family. Who is the son of perdition? Is he the same as the Antichrist? No, family, I just proved it to you, right? The Antichrist comes from within. So is Daniel chapter 7 prophesying the coming of the son of perdition or the Antichrist, right? Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse. And this is where you see the word shana'ah, from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. So we got to deal with this word diverse. Now, I dealt with this earlier at our Shabbat service, but when we think of diverse, from how we've been groomed in this corporate America, we think that diverse is dealing with a number of different groups of people. You know, you have diversity training at your jobs. You have diversity training at your workplaces, right? This is why you have, for example, Black History Month, Spanish History Month, LGBTQRSTUVWXYZ month. You have all these different months because that's all part of diversity training. Now, guess what? All of that's being eliminated, right? You know, but nevertheless, that's what we've been taught about diversity. But diverse according to scripture, is totally different. Let me prove it to you. Let's go to the Hebrew definition of shana or shana'ah. Look at this here. Shana'ah, it says what? Change, alter. Add the word here, manipulate, because that's all part of here. Change, alter, manipulate. Who is the prince of the air? That's Hasatan. That's manipulation. So this fourth beast has the attribute of being skilled at manipulation, changing. Isn't these people good at changing history? Altering things, as Josephus noted about the Greeks, you know, about appropriating histories of the people that they have conquered unto themselves as if they are the originators. placing their names on it because it sounds good in their language. Just hijacking other cultures. So shana'a means alter, change, manipulation. And then when we see diverse, right? It says here different in kind, not alike, essentially different. But the key here, it says here, the sense of including and promoting persons of previously underrepresented minority identities. That's pretty interesting, right? But who is this beast? Right? Who is this beast? I'm fast forwarding here, family. Who is this beast? Going back to verse 24, right? It says 10 horns out of his kingdom, right? Out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue the 3 kings, right? And we know who the 3 kings is. Let me go to the 3 kings, right? Because here it says, when we see, I'm going to go back here when it says subdue, right? Subdue basically means to humiliate, bring down, cast down, put down, right? So who are the 3 kings? Well, family, the 3 kings are the king of the northern kingdom, which would be called Israel, the king of the southern kingdom, which would be called Judah, and also the Edomites. So this group of people will be able to play both sides. We're going to take all of them out, hijack all of them, because Esau was not originally, as many would teach, a Caucasian. Esau was a Negro, a hairy Negro. So who is this diverse beast who shall subdue the 3 kings? Now, I gave you the answer, but I'm going to give you scripture, right? And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art, my people as thy people, my horses as thy horses. And he said, which way shall we go? And he said, and he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So look at this here. The king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Edom. So this is telling you that they all teamed up to go against the Moabites. He realized that there was a greater threat that didn't care about their differences among themselves. Sounds familiar? All right. So, and the king of Israel said, alas, Yahweh hath called these 3 kings together. Right. So, nevertheless, the 3 kings are Israel, the northern kingdom, Judah, the southern kingdom, and the king of Edom. Right. Another key word that I want to highlight here, when it says verse 25, speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, change times and laws. Family, I want to just highlight this real quick and use this as a way of encouraging you guys, a means of encouragement, because this beast is all about trying to wear us out. So it's going to speak great words, right? Malah, right? Which means command, discourse. We see how this group of people, these religions, these systems of men, they know how to spread discourse, starting all the way up to the so-called greatest or most powerful position on the planet. This president had, guess what? Every one of these guys, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Joe Biden, whether all these guys spreaded discourse from that position. I know some may say, well, what did Obama do? He started with saying what? He's evolving when it comes to what? Marriage. Am I right, guys?
Yep.
Absolutely.
The definition of marriage.
He said, I evolved.
He just came out the closet.
So, family, that's why I say this is not about Democrats. This is not about Republicans. This is about what? The evil among all of them, that entire system of man.
There you go.
Right? So discourse, look at what discourse says here. Right? Process of understanding, reasoning, thought, running about. But this is the key here. It says to run about, run to and fro, hasten. Doesn't that sound familiar, guys? What does that sound like? To run about, run to and fro. Okay, we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. We'll get there. Wear out. Bala. To fail, to wear out, decay. But look at this. use up completely, to harass constantly. Come on, family. The whole goal with wearing us out is to make us feel like we're good for nothing, to make us so tired. Have you ever been so tired that you were good for nothing? You couldn't help anybody. You couldn't even help yourself. You just want to just go somewhere and lay down. You just want to just disappear somewhere, be completely used up. And that's what people constantly do with our community. That's what this community is feeling as a whole, not just in this awakening, but our people as a whole. These Democrats, these Republicans, or matter of fact, these Democrats, right? All these guys come to our community, use us up, fill us up with all kinds of lies. Then we turn around, call ourselves going to support these guys. And what happened? They renege on their promise. So this go round, the reason why these guys are upset, reason why all these different communities are upset, because we're not showing up to the party now. Any party. We're saying, look, you know what? The fight is on y'all. We're not marching anymore. Y'all march on your own. We tapped out. That's why you hear them saying, where are they? Where are the Negroes? Where are the blacks? Because we are tired. We are now saying we're worn out. But we're not supposed to be worn out in doing the things of the Most High, though. So this whole strategy is to wear us out completely, to give up on the things of the Most High as well. All right? So Leviticus 19, we dealt with that about loving our neighbor. But we also see this key word here: thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Right? So what is a talebearer? Well, let me show you what a talebearer is real quick, right? A talebearer is a scandal monger. Wait a minute. I mean, I believe that Berean scholar mentioned about scandal mongering and how our people love jumping from platform to platform. Why? Because they want to hear what's the latest scandal. They want to hear what's the latest things that are popping up, the fights and bickering among the community. They want to go from place to place with this itching ear doctrine, a scandal mongering, traveling about, slander, carrying tales, an informer. That's what a talebearer is, right? In other words, a troll. Come on now, family. Do you know these religious systems are nothing but trolls? I can guarantee you, right? I can guarantee you. Now I'm putting people on the spot. If I just start saying Jesus Christ, Jesus, I can guarantee you within the 60 seconds, someone is going to troll and say Jesus is not his name. There was no J. I already know this. But you'll have trolls. See, that's what happens, as my brother pointed out. That's the spirit of trolling. Hasatan goes what? To and fro. That's trolling. Now going to and fro social media, seeing who they can stir up stuff with. Trolling. Look at here. To go about, stroll, not running, just taking his time. Being strategic, trolling. A hunting term means what? Wander, to go in quest of game. In other words, prey without purpose. Just going to or fro, right? Merriam-Webster dictionary: troll, to harass, criticize, antagonize, especially by provocatively disparaging or mocking public statements, posting, or acts. How many times have we been harassed, criticized, antagonized for where we are right now? Coming from who? From those that claim to know. From the church, from Islam, from Judaism. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. In other words, trolling. So this beast will create through manipulation, will create so much discourse through media that many will become worn out, be good for nothing, and just give up. Give up. Remember this guy right here who wanted to be a superhero? As you can see, I'm not just MAGA. I am dark Gothic MAGA. Now, I'm not going to go through the details of this because this will take another hour just to go through this. But I want to show you something about that phrase MAGA. All right? Let me show you what MAGA means. All right? Because some of our people just, they just run with stuff, man. Let me go further. Oh, do I have it here? No. I'm just fast forwarding. Look at the word witch. Witch. There are many other words for witches, such as incantatrix, lamia, saga. Where do we see here? MAGA. Y'all want to know if MAGA is a cult? What do we see here? MAGA, Malefica, Sortilega, Strix, Benefica. But the key right here, we're dealing with who? MAGA, Make American Great Again? You guys think that was done accidentally? By happenstance? Stick rider, fascinatrix, one with the evil eye, herbaria, one who gathers herbs, Strix, the screeching owl. This is where you get Lilith. Look at here. Another word that's synonymous to MAGA. Look at here. Magus. Magus. All right. Still dealing with witchcraft. So MAGA is interchangeable with a witch or warlock. MAGA and Magus is a worker of charms. All right. Look at this, churchofsatan.com. I want you guys to see what it says about MAGA. Look at it. It's the 5th degree. MAGA, Magus. Oh, come on, family. Come on, family. Witchcraft. That's why he called himself Dark Gothic MAGA. This guy thinks that he's literally saying he's an arch nemesis. Oh, anyway, that's my geek mode coming out, right? That's my old comic book guy coming out. But anyway, what is the role of MAGA in this Church of Satan? Let me show you some additional information here on MAGA, right? Look at MAGA. This is coming from the Dictionary of Satanism, a generic word for witch. Wait a minute. See, look, guys, I'm showing you the sources. Don't go diving in these sources if you don't have a prayer life, if you don't have a fasting life, if you're not strong in this word, if you're not strong in this walk. Don't even go into this to try to start reading this stuff right here. Because if you're not careful, Paul, I know, Yahweh Shai, I know, Paul, I know, but who are you? You don't want that to happen. All right. But look at here. MAGA, a generic name for what? Witch. The term usually denotes a pleasure-seeking witch. Doesn't that sound like what we see in office right now? MAGAs, one of the 10 grades. That's what really stood out right here. 10 grades. Now we get into the Kabbalists. Now we get into Judaism. One of the 10 grades. This is getting into what is called the 10 Sephira, right? This is getting to what is called the Ein Sof. One of the 10 grades corresponding to the Sephira in Aleister Crowley's Kabbalistic system. The Magas and Sephira 2, the sphere of the stars, attains to wisdom, declares his law, and is a master of all magic in its greatest and highest sense. Oh, man. Look at this. This is coming from this Judaism right here. This is the 10 Sephira, but this is the bottom part of the Sephira, right? The foundation. And then you have the other part is the Shekinah or the Shekinah or Shekinah. Guess what? This portion of this so-called torso is the male and female reproductive organ, the genitalia, right? This is the phallus right here. And this is what? The Shekinah, which is also supposed to be the female reproductive organ, which they teaching hermaphrodite. This is teaching transvestitism or transvestism. Oh, family, it's serious here, family. And I see your image that you have up here, and I'm going to close out with one thing after we one key point after Berean scholars show his image here. Look like you got this the superhero, the arch
Yeah,
nemesis.
the super. He's saying the quiet thing out loud.
All right, let's see here. Come on, family.
And notice the upside down cross in the middle of the head.
Can you zoom it in? Are you talking about
on this chat? Let me see.
So as you can see here, that what you call it now? That now I can't think of the name of it. Baphomet is a hermaphrodite, right? It has breasts. The original image has breasts. And look at what he's wearing. These guys are sick, family.
And right here on his wrist.
So look at that. On his wrist, his forearms or his hands. He got it on his chest.
And the same outfit on the back, too. It's on his back.
Yeah. They're not playing, family. They're not playing. They are not playing. All right, family. All right. Yeah, I know you guys like, man, Pastor is going geek mode. We're going geek mode tonight, right? Y'all want to continue to go geek mode, family, a little longer? All right. All right. Sister Carol, anything you want to share?
I'm just going to say that he is a German ancestry as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of skipped over it, but yes, you hit it on the nail, family. He is German. And guess what? He and Donald Trump's parents, uncles, and all have history. You think it's a coincidence that they're parting up? No. Go back to what the 30s to 40s, right? Berean scholar, yeah. Donald Trump's uncle with Elon's uncle, who I'm not gonna get into the details of it. But family, there is a documentary out there called, is it 88?
Yeah, 88.
I encourage you guys, peep it out. If I remember, I'll drop it in here. He bought some stuff out in there. I was like, what? I had my high pitched voice going on. Like, wait a minute, I do all that over here.
You go,
But what? But yeah, Donald Trump and Elon Musk families have history. All right, family. We gotta bring this in, right? We gotta prove the worship. The son of perdition is the worship of Japheth. All right. You got to understand the prophecies of Gog and Magog. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I just want to highlight who's who, right? Gog and Magog, right? I'm not going to read all of this. Where are they today? Ezekiel 38, verse 1 through 7. This is where you get the information here. When you get, as you see here, verse 1.
You got to bring up the screen, Pastor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm about to go in my flow, right? I was just testing you guys.
I didn't want to miss it. No, you want to miss it.
All right. So Ezekiel 38, chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 38, verse 1. As you see here, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, Tubal, and prophesy against them. So, family, we got to identify who these individuals are, right? Identity matters, family. That book of Genesis that you've been told to bypass in the ancient Hebrew, Barashayath, right? In other words, in the beginning, that's the actual Hebrew name of the book of Genesis, right? But there's a reason why it's called Genesis. Genesis comes from the word gene, right? You also get generic comes from the word gene, right? The Proto-Indo-European word gene, which basically means begat. So when you're reading the whole book of Genesis, that's why it says these are the genealogies, for example, of Adam. Then when you get to chapter 10, you see that again. Then you also, when you go over to chapter 11, you see this. You also see this in Chronicles, right? These different people have meaning. There's a reason why these names are there. So there's a reason why these names are here. When you see Gog and Magog, when you see Meshach and Tubal, guess what, family? This is Russia right here. Okay, Pastor, prove it to me. Let me go here. I'm gonna summarize this real quick, right? And say thus, Yahweh Elohim, behold, I am against God, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn back thee, put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. Man, treating them like a fish, right? Putting a hook, right? But anyway, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them. Now you're seeing what? Some African countries, right? That's going to be joining alliance with these groups. This is the word right here, right? You see Gomer, right? We're gonna deal with all of these, right? But look at what it says. All of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands with many people with thee. So we see Japheth. These are all the children of Japheth. These are all the bloodlines of Japheth coming together. And you have some of the African nations that's following suit, that's joining them as well. The Persia, Libya, right? Persia, we're dealing with what they call the Fertile Crest, the Levant area. Ethiopia, that's North Africa, right? Northeast Africa, right? That territory. Libya, that's right above, right? Just right at that border, right where you see Morocco, all those. Man, this is that whole territory. Togomar of the north quarters and all of his bands, many people with thee. Let's break this down. Be thou prepared. We got to be prepared, family. Prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So let's fast forward here. I'm going to fast forward here, right? When we look at Gog, when we look at Magog, when we look at Meshach, when we look at Tubal, when we look at Gog, look at Magog, right? Magog, region of Gog. But look at what it says. On the son of Japheth, second son of Japheth. Then it also says it is the name of a nation, probably some Scythian or Tartar tribe, descended from what? Japheth. So make a note of Scythians, right? Look at this here. Scythian nation, fierce and innumerable, who live beyond the Caucasus and Lake Maeotis near the Caspian Sea. All right. And spread out even onward to India. Wait a minute. We confirmed that the Scythians made it all the way out past that, right? Because the Chinese make note of them. They called them the Scythian Jots, right? Which was, they referred to them as Yuchi. Oh man. Yeah, family. So Magog is the second son of Japheth. Genesis chapter 10, the very book that they told you don't worry about, right? Verse 2, the son of Japheth. Look at here, Gomer. But look what we see. Magog, we see Tubal, we see Meshach. Isn't this some of the names that we highlighted out of the passage that we just read from? But these are descendants of Japheth. So we saw Gomer's name there. It said he and his band. We saw Meshach. We saw Tubal. We saw these all fall up under Gomer. Well, actually, Japheth, right? Gomer is Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach. These are his immediate sons, right? But then he had grandsons. But anyway, look at the Scythians, right? Magog is also connected to the Scythians. Who are the Scythians? Right? Look at this here, right? It says people of a nomadic people of Iranian stock, Russia, Ukraine, right? So this is telling us that Russia, Ukraine, and some of these people ties into the Scythian. But we're not going to stop there. Who are the Scythians? All right. Look at here, dealing with Ashkenazic, dealing with the Turks. This dealing with what? Over 609 Jewish genomes demonstrated that Greeks, Romans, Iranians, and Turks exhibits the highest genetic similarities with the Ashkenazi Jews. Why? Because they all descendants of Japheth. Oh, yeah. Yeah, family. Uh-oh. Let me show you here, Let me show you here. Let's go to, look at here. The Jews call Ashkenazic an example Scythian or Scythians, however you want to pronounce it. Look at that. These are connected. Who are the Scythians? Look at here. Here's Ashkenaz, right? Look at here. Ashkenaz, first descendant of Gomer, who is the first offspring of Japheth. Ashkenaz appears along with Ararat and many as a kingdom called upon to oppose Babylon. But let's fast forward here. Still talking about the same thing, Black and Caspian Seas, 8th and 7th century BC. But look at this here. For Herodotus, these people came to be called the Scythians. We see this again. Still connected to who? Let's go back here. The Ashkenazis, connected to the Scythians, the same people. All right. Just fast forwarding here. All right. All right. And we see also Jeremiah mentions them. Mentioned, right, in the first part of Jeremiah, right? All right. Okay. So the Scythians or Scythians in the Anchor Bible, right? We're still dealing with them. Biblical scholars sometimes associate the Scythians with Ashkenaz and with the bringers of destruction. So we're still dealing with the same people. Here's the kicker. Their reputation for savagery is alluded to in 2nd Maccabees. All right. All right. Looking at the time. All right. So we're just giving them clarity. So the Scythians occupy what is called Russia, modern day Russia, and Ukraine. All right. The Khazars. You guys know about the Khazars, right? But let's look at the Khazars real quick. All right. The Jewish Encyclopedia about the Khazars. All right. Look at here. A Turkish people, origins whose life and history are interwoven with the very beginning of the history of the Jews of Russia. How can the Khazars, these Russian Jews, be the same? How can they be Japheth and Shem at the same time? Any comments, guys, as we get ready to wrap this up?
I mean, it says right there, it is impossible. It's some of these things that's right in front of us when people just overlook Jews of Russia, some Semitic people from Africa. It's impossible.
I even heard some people even said they came from the Canaanites, which is how far-fetched. Yeah, that's the new one, that they're Canaanites.
Man.
And I don't know how the blood just dropped all around from Japheth, Gomer, over to Canaan. Now, true enough, Shem, Ham, and Japheth are all bloodline brothers. But your bloodline change when you start marrying people. You're over here. It's not over there. You're not the same bloodline.
And to that point, family, I want to highlight another group called the Jutes and the Jutish. Sounds like Jew and Jewish, right? Sound just the same. This is a group of people that I know when, I never heard about them. I always been taught about the Anglos, the Saxons, conquering and all of that stuff. But they never taught about the Jutes. Now I was taught about the Northmen, learned about that, but I never was taught about the Jutes. Look at this. One of the ancient Germanic inhabitants, because when you study history, the Jutes, similar to the Khazarians, which they are basically the same people, were lending out their army, their soldiers, like the Khazars. So one of the ancient Germanic inhabitants of Jutland, the peninsula between modern Germany and Denmark. Family, this is where the word Jew really, when you start pulling it together, it developed right along with this word. Is it a coincidence that Jews sound like Jutish? Sound like Jute, and Jewish sound like Jutish? who with the Angles and the Saxons invaded Britain in the 5th century. Traditionally, they were said to have settled in Kent and Hampshire. The name is related to Old Norse Eote, Eotar, excuse me, I'm butchering it. All right. So is there a coincidence that Jutes and Jutes sound the same? Sound like Jew and Jewish? It's not a coincidence because we're dealing with what? Old English. We're dealing with the language of Japheth. This is a Germanic language, right? And we're dealing with what? 3 Germanic tribes here: the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes, which is the Scythians or the Scythians. I'm not going to read all of this, family, but this is also proven that the Jutes are connected to the Vikings, right? As we see here, the Jutes were Scythians or Scythian Jots. So we see the word Scythian. So I just want to make sure you see the glue here, right? But the Scythians, still tying into Japheth, right? There was also connected to, as you see here, Norman. These are the Vikings, because Normandy, the Norsemen, right? They're all the same people. Look at this here. Norman, who belong to Scythian race. Let me say this again. Normans who belong to the Scythian race. The fact that they were allies in their raids upon Britain is not enough for their racial confusion. Vikings were called Northmen because they lived in the north, while the Angles and Saxons lived in the south. Northmen ultimately were abbreviated into Normans. So yeah, family, these Ashkenazis are connected to the Scythians, connected to the Khazars. But again, the glue to all the descendants of Japheth is this group of people called the Scythians. The Jutes, who are Scythian Jots, they are connected to the Northmen or Norman, the Vikings. That's right, family. What is the Vikings known for? You guys already know. Let's see here. So again, they were all different names under the same race of Scythian Jots. Yuchi, right? This is the word by which the Chinese knew the Jots. So they went by Yuchi. Doesn't that sound familiar? If we took off the Y and put the J there, it would be what? Juchi. Jewish, Jutish, Jutes, Jew. The word Jew is an English word. Wow. So family, stop embracing this nonsense of saying Jew is a short abbreviation for Judah. That's an absolute lie. The word Jew is an English construct that made its first appearance in this translations in the 12th century by Wycliffe.
You know, the whole situation, if you tell a lie, you tell a lie long enough, then they get engraved in our minds and our memories. And they have told that lie long enough, so whenever we hear it, we just, oh, that's it.
Absolutely.
Jew. They told that lie long enough.
Absolutely. And Sister Carol, no, I've been teaching this forever, right, Sister Carol?
That's right.
So this is not even new. I've been teaching this before I even started getting on YouTube. Right? So the Chinese called them Yuchi. But if you take that Y and do like the Letterman from Electric Company, take the Y from take the J from the chest and replace the Y with the J and turn it from Yuchi to Juchi. Man, oh man. Sister Carol, tell them this is why they've been messing with us, right?
Exactly.
Trying to get us off the internet, right? Look at this here. Yuchi became or were merged with Aryan elements into a people called the Indo-Scythians. All right, family. Yep. Meshach. I'm not going to read all of this, but you guys will get the gist of it. Moscow. Right? Moscow and Tobolsk. Right? Tubal is Tobolsk. These are both of these are Russian countries, Russian territories. All right. That's what this source is highlighting here. And look at here what it says here. Beyond the Caspian and Black Seas, settled in the area of Rosh, that we know today as Russia. Gog is undoubtedly the Russians. All right. And we see Tubal, right? All right. So this is that's what this is explaining here. Same thing with this source here. Testament of Grand Princes. This is still tying it into the to Moscow, but you see Meshech Chera, right? This is still dealing with the Russians. Eastern Bible Dictionary, Meshech still confirms what we just pointed out. Moshian Mountains between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, still dealing with that same territory. But look at this here, right? Mingling with who? The Scythians. You see that glue here, family? Still see the Scythians. So the other descendants of the son of perdition will become allies, right? So far we dealt with Gomer, all his descendants, and that's what this is dealing with here. So is Gomer the son of perdition? Guess what, family? I'm here to tell you, no, it's not Gomer, because we see more than just Gomer that is being laid out here, okay? But let's go back here. Freemasonry, real quick, G-O-D. That G-O-D stands for the worship of Gomer. Look at this here. The initials of Gomer Oz-Dabar, G-O-D, the worship of Gomer. That letter G that you see on the Freemasons, that compass, that G. Now they'll teach you that it stands for geometry, because geometry is supposed to be the universal language, the mathematics. Now it's making me sound like I'm a 5%er, right? About to break it down, right? Anyway, so G-O-D, God, that name God. This is why I am hesitant about saying God and calling the Father God, because the true tense of this word is paying homage to Gomer. The initials Gomer Oz-Dabar. Look at this right here. 3 great pillars of, or metaphorical supports of masonry. They seem to present almost the only reason that in reconciling Mason to the use of the initial G and its conspicuous suspension in the east of the lodge, in the place of the delta, right? That triangle, right? The delta, the triangle, that Yanni, that Omega symbol. The incident seems to be more than an accident. Come on, family. They got the Hebrew word Gomer, Gamar. All right. So Freemasonry promotes the worship of Gomer. Why is that important? Look at this. We go back to Gomer. We got Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, Tyrus, Javan. Now we're dealing with the Greeks, the Romans. But look at this here. Let's go to, when we go to Gomer, I'm just fast forwarding, family. Look at here. We're going back to Gomer. Look at it. The sons of Gomer. Look at that Ashkenaz, Riphath, and look what we have here. Togarmah. Oh, Togarmah, excuse me. Uh-oh. Look at here. We see here, sons of Javan. Now we're dealing with the Romans. We're dealing with the Greeks. When you see here, Kittim. When you see Dodonim, this is all still dealing with the Romans and the Greeks. Oh, family. Yes, we done just took the whole roof off of this. The roof is not even on fire. We just knocked the whole building down, right? So let's close out with proving Gomer. Going to Genesis chapter 9, verse 27, and Elohim shall enlarge in Japheth, and he shall dwell where? In the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Oh man. Let me pull the definition in real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. We just proved there's a reason why this passage is here. This is dealing with identity theft right here, right?
That's it.
Gomer is addicted to what? To be worshipped. Throne addiction. Wants everybody thrones. So let me bring into this presentation as we wrap up. Sis, that's probably the fastest that you see me go through that portion of it, right?
Yes, it is.
I think I did it in what, about 7 to 8 minutes?
If that much, yeah.
But then again,
I was going to address a comment I saw.
Go ahead, sis, while I pull this in.
Esau and Japheth did not mix, like you're stating, because you're saying that everybody in Japheth, all these people that Pastor Kelly just went through, are all Hebrews, and Esau is a Hebrew, Negro. His lineage is of Eber, which means Hebrew. Japheth is not Hebrew. Gomer is not Hebrew. Togarmah is not Hebrew. Ashkenaz is not Hebrew. So let's stop with that nonsense.
I totally agree. It burns me up, and many don't really understand how they sound.
And those
Because
scriptures
if
are
you're saying that
substantiated.
Esau is the white man, but
Yes.
then Deuteronomy says, love Esau, that is your brother. So you can't say that Esau is the white man, but then you hating on Esau if that's based upon that logic.
Right.
Because it goes against the scriptures. But Esau is not the Caucasian, it's not the white man. Because then you're saying all the Japheth's descendants are white. I mean, are Hebrew, just like you pointed out.
Right.
Come on, family. We gotta stop it. Now, did some of Japheth's seeds go that route? Yes, just like some of Israel's seed, Judah's seeds went that route.
Right.
But guess what? Did not get absorbed rather.
No.
No, not at all.
I'm with you, Sister Carol. I am with you. That right there, I just
And I
can't.
knew it was coming when you was discussing this. So I popped and looked at the chat, and there it was. I knew it was one.
Yeah, and
Well,
family.
that's why it's important.
Go ahead, Brian. Go
That's
ahead.
why important that you have all these sources you're given at the bottom of the page that you can go look these sources up yourself and verify everything that was said.
Well, the book itself, the scriptures. I mean, the Most High did a very good job in laying out bloodline lineage.
Exactly.
So you'll know who is who. Not one time did you see Esau embrace Japheth to the point of where you saying all of that is Esau's descendants. You can read Esau's descendants. You can see where he married a bunch of Canaanites. Just did our people, Shem people, married a bunch of Canaanites.
Absolutely. And see, family, this is the word we have to focus on. Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem and Canaan. This is not what you think on the surface. Many commentaries will teach you that the Most High blessed Japheth.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what this reads. This is not the proper understanding of this text, right? Let's see what enlarge means in Hebrew, right? We see here patha, right? Patha means to be open, but here's the kicker. In a what way? In a sinister way, delude, allure, deceive, enlarge, entice, flatter, persuade, silly one, or silly, in other words, silly one. So how do we bring this together? Let's go back here. I didn't bring up, I'll put all of this here. When it says Elohim shall enlarge, this is saying that the Most High, just like with any nations that he allowed to chastise Israel, the Most High allowed Japheth to do what Japheth is doing, being deceptive, because again, there's a time of judgment that's going to come about that we read. There's a time of overall judgment that's going to come upon Japheth. Japheth, guess what? Going back here, Japheth, right? Delude, allure, deceived, enlarged, entice, flattered, persuade. So in a nutshell, Elohim allowed Japheth, to deceive Shem, descendants of Shem, the descendants of Canaan, right? Allowed them to what? Deceive. Just kind of like when we read the scriptures, the time of what? The nations. You see the time of the Gentiles, but time of what? The other nations. That the Most High is allowing it to do certain things, so that way his prophecies be fulfilled. But family, we have to make sure that we understand this in the proper perspective. So Gomer is simply a son of the son of perdition, which is Japheth. Ashkenaz is simply a grandson of the son of perdition, which is Japheth. The son of perdition is the progenitor of a key son outside of Ashkenaz. And this is what we talked about here, right? Javan, right? You see Javan here. Wrapping this up, look, let's see what Javan means. Look at here. The Greeks. The Greeks. These are the Greeks. I'm just highlighting it real quick. Greeks, right? Joel, the prophecy. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, ye have sold into who? The Greeks, which represents the Europeans, which represents the sons of Japheth, which represents the Scythians, which represents the Norms. In other words, the Vikings, the Khazarians, Britain. I mean, all of these guys, the Turks, when we start getting into, Tobolus or what's that? Togama, this is getting into all of those people. If I thought about it, I would have had the tree of languages here to properly identify all of them.
Yep.
So family, this is why we wanted to take the time out to really go through and show you what's what, right? Oh, real quick. Look at his Kittim or Chittim, right? All ships shall come from the coast of Chittim and shall afflict Ashur and shall afflict who? Eber. The Hebrews.
Rest my case.
Going to Sister Carol's point, look at here, Kittim. Who is Kittim? Look at this, family. It's too easy. Greeks or Romans. This is too easy, family. It's too easy. Kittim. We're not going to go into the details here, but we highlighted, we still see what? The Greeks. So the nations were guilty of capturing and selling Judah as slaves. Taking us back here. I'm going to stop right here, family. I know I could continue on. But guess what, family? This beast, through manipulation, will create so much discourse through media that many will become worn out, be good for nothing, and just simply give up. And guess what, family? We're here to tell you, don't give up. Hallelujah.
Amen.
Hallelujah. I know this was a lengthy presentation, but it was very informational. I encourage you guys to go back over and watch this presentation. Take your notes.
Yes.
Take your notes. Take your notes. Take your notes, family. So let's give some shout outs here. I didn't realize some super chats came in because I was like zoned in. Shout outs to our elder in the building. Thank you for the love and support. Hallelujah. James, brother Washington Jr., thank you for the love and support. Pure Repentance, thank you for the love and support. Karen, Sister Karen McGrady, thank you for the love and support. Marquise, thank you, Marquise, for the love and support. This is one I think just came, one of the new ones that came in. Thank you, brother Marquise. Really appreciate you. Also, Content in Yah, thank you for the love and support. All praises, Yah. Shalom, brother Kelly, great grace to you. Thank you again for the love and support. Contents in Yah, really appreciate you. Really appreciate everyone for the love and support tonight. Meeting Place, thank you for all that you do on behalf of the diaspora. Thank you. Really appreciate the love and support tonight. Really appreciate you guys. Family, let's show some love for everyone that contributed tonight. I know that this was a lengthy lesson, But tonight, well, actually, I'm not going to do it tonight. Tomorrow, I will take the time out and go through and actually index this lesson because of how long it is. So that way you can actually go to certain areas of this lesson without having to skim through the video as a whole. So any comments, guys? I know we went through a lot tonight. This is probably one of our lengthier ones, videos that we've done, 3 hours. But it was really packed with information.
Great teaching. Something you need to go back through again and again and take notes.
I'm on. Sister Carol, any thoughts? Any comments before we wrap up?
Just read with intelligence. You know, it's time out from all the cherry picking the scriptures and hopping from different teachings on different channels. Just pick the book up and read for yourself.
Yes.
And stop adding to information that's not there.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And there you have it, family. We're going to call it a wrap here. Thank you guys for the love and support. Matter of fact, let me close out this poll. So it was 368 votes. Man, we got a lot of votes in. All praises. 45% initially said that they believe that in this country there was a Jewish president. 17% wasn't said no. 38% not sure, and we already covered that. So we proved that there is, and that there was. We can say multiple. All right, but really appreciate you, family, for the love and support. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, in the words of Yahweh that he gave to Moses in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14, fear ye not, stand still, see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today will not have power over you ever again. The Most High will fight for you. But here's the kicker, family. We must hold our peace. Can't go back. Can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.